Do you ever feel like you're stuck? Like you're on the outside of a fantastic life looking in, but you just can't seem to find the door? You work hard, you push, you hustle, but nothing changes. What if I told you that you built the walls you're stuck behind? And that you built them with a very specific set of tools, the words you use every single day. In this video, I'm handing you the keys to get out. We're going to expose the 5 most common verbal traps that are quietly sabotaging your success, and I'll give you the exact powerful words to use instead so you can start tearing down those walls and living the life you were meant to live, starting right now. Now, before we get to the words, you need to understand why your language is so powerful. This isn't fluffy, positive thinking nonsense. This is about how your brain is wired. Here's the wild part. Your brain doesn't really know the difference between what's real and what you just tell it is real. When you speak, it listens, and it takes you very, very literally. When you constantly tell yourself a negative story, your brain doesn't just hear it. It prepares your body for it. That internal dialogue triggers stress hormones like cortisol, which drains your motivation and kills your energy. It creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where you start to dodge the very opportunities you say you want, because your mind has already decided they're linked to failure and anxiety. Think of your words as the architects of your reality. They build the frame through which you see the world. So when your language is limiting, you are quite literally building the bars of your own cage. Today, we're going to become better architects. Let's get into the 5 most destructive phrases you're probably using without even realizing it, and the powerful alternatives that will set you free. How many times a day does this pop into your head? I should go to the gym. I have to finish this report. I must call them back. On the surface, these words sound responsible, right? But underneath, they are the language of obligation and fear. When you use them, you're subconsciously telling yourself, if I don't do this, something bad will happen. This doesn't inspire you, it just creates low-grade chronic stress. It turns your biggest goals into dreadful chores. You're no longer chasing a dream, you're just running from a consequence. The fix is to switch from the language of obligation to the language of choice. Instead of, I have to finish this report, reframe it as, I will finish this report. It's a commitment. Better yet, instead of, I should go to the gym, try saying, I get to go to the gym to feel stronger. That simple shift from have to get to transforms the entire feeling. It moves you out of fear and into a place of power, reminding you that your goals are choices you are actively making for yourself. I always mess up presentations. I never stick to a diet. My flights are always delayed. This is the language of extremes, a nasty mental trap that psychologists call overgeneralization. It takes one single negative event and blows it up into a permanent, never-ending cycle of defeat. When you use words like always and never, you're essentially writing a rule for your life. You're telling your brain that the outcome is already decided, so why bother trying? This black and white thinking sets you up for constant disappointment. The solution here is to fight back with realistic and forgiving language. The next time you catch yourself saying, I always mess this up, stop. Correct it. Say, sometimes I've struggled with this and I'm learning from it. Instead of, I never finish what I start, try, this time I will see it through. By swapping always and never for words like sometimes, in the past, or this time, you shatter the pattern. You turn a brick wall into a hurdle you can clear. Okay, this next one, this is the big one. I can't is maybe the most powerful and destructive phrase in your vocabulary. I can't start a business. I can't afford that. I can't do this. Every single time you say, I can't, you're speaking a direct command to your subconscious mind, and your mind, trying to be efficient, obeys. It shuts down. It stops looking for solutions. It stops seeing possibilities. The door slams shut on your own potential. The most powerful reframe for I can't is to flip it into a question, how can I? Changing I can't afford this to how can I afford this changes everything. Your brain, which had given up, now has a fascinating problem to solve. It immediately starts scanning for resources, ideas, and pathways. Another amazing trick is to add one simple word, yet. I can't do this yet. That tiny word transforms a permanent dead end into a temporary journey. A project at work hits a snag, and your first thought is, it's all my fault. Your kid gets a bad grade, and you think, I should have helped more. This is my fault. This is the language of personalization, and it's like carrying around a backpack full of rocks you don't need to carry. Personalization is when you take 100% of the blame for things that are only 10% or even 0% your responsibility. It leads to a crushing cycle of guilt and shame, because you're holding yourself accountable for outcomes you can't possibly control on your own. The solution is to separate what you can control from what you can't. Instead of, it's all my fault, use a statement that is more precise and fair. I am responsible for my part in this. This lets you take ownership without taking on the weight of the world. Then, you can ask a forward-looking question. What can I learn from this? Or what's the next right step? This shifts your focus from blame to growth. What if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if I make a mistake and get fired? This is the language of catastrophizing, when your mind jumps to the absolute worst possible case scenario in any situation. It's a survival instinct that's completely gone off the rails. Your brain thinks it's protecting you, but instead, it's trapping you in a bubble of fear, stopping you from ever taking the risks you need to take to grow. The antidote is to deliberately and consciously flip the question on its head. The next time your brain asks, what if I fail? You need to answer it with a better question. But what if I fly? Or even more simply, what if it all works out? This isn't about being naive to risks. It's about giving equal, if not more, airtime to the possibility of success. You can also ground yourself with a statement of self-trust. Whatever happens, I'll handle it. That single sentence reminds you that you have the resilience to adapt no matter the outcome. The ultimate strategy that ties all of this together is learning to speak as if you've already achieved what you want. This is about programming your identity. Here's why it works. Your brain has a hard time telling the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you consistently speak from a place of I am, you start to align your beliefs and actions with that new identity. There are 3 levels to this. I want to. This is where it starts. It's about desire. I will. This is stronger. It's about commitment. I am. This is the game changer. It claims the identity right now. For example, someone who procrastinates might start with, I hate being so lazy. The first reframe is, I want to be more productive. The next level is a commitment. I will complete my tasks on time. But the final, most powerful stage is claiming the identity. I am a focused and productive person. When you say, I am a confident public speaker before you even get on stage, your nervous system actually starts to respond as if it's true. This isn't magic. You're just aiming your brain's incredible problem-solving power at how to make it a reality, rather than dwelling on all the reasons you can't. That cage you felt stuck in, the bars were never made of steel. They were just made of words. Words like, I should, I always, I can't, it's my fault, and what if. And the beautiful thing is, if words can build a prison, they can also build a palace. You've always had the key. It's in the language you choose to use from this moment forward. Replace the language of fear with the language of choice. Swap the language of limitation for the language of possibility. Start speaking your success into existence, not as some far-off dream, but as your present reality. Start today. Start now. And watch how fast your world begins to change. Now, I have a challenge for you. Down in the comments, tell me the one self-sabotaging phrase you are officially committing to dropping from your vocabulary, starting today. Let's make that declaration together. Declaring it is the first step to changing it.